Hey, well, look, you can see there's not just one guy on the screen today. It's a good friend of mine. This is Dave Seymour, Freedom Venture Investments. You might recognize me from flipping Boston, and I dug deep into the archives and I pulled a friend of mine up. This gentleman right here, his name is Doug Hopkins. Doug and I go way back. We've been friends for a long time. Doug, you're going to be impressed, brother. Hold on a minute before I let you start talking. Watch this. I'm going to do some technology stuff.
Let's see it.
Share a screen. You ready? Hold on a minute. Ready?
All right.
Share a screen. Boom. Now, everybody, I hope. I don't know what you can see. Can you see the screen, Doug?
I sure can.
How do we look, dude? We look pretty swift, don't we?
Look! I look a lot younger there. It looked like I had more hair. That was a picture from probably, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. So
I think mine was too. That picture of me in the blue jacket right there, that was before I ate my way through COVID. Don't lock me up in the house with my wife and my kids for 3 months. I'm just going to eat. That's all I did.
So same thing.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. So anyway, as you guys can see, it's Doug Hopkins. He is a player. He's a good friend of mine. He's definitely somebody to listen to and learn from. As it says on the slide there, he's bought well over 10,000 homes. I know that's just the first line in your resume. When you start thinking about the capital side that you've been on in your career, et cetera, et cetera. But look, we know each other from an education space, and we got to be friends. Even though we have a little bit of a challenge in who we support for football teams, and we could talk about that at some point, or not, however it works out. But Doug was on the show Property Wars, as you can see there. He did that on the Discovery Channel. Here's what I think, Doug. I think there's like a secret group of ex-reality TV people, and they hang out in basements of churches. They smoke cigarettes, drink coffee, and talk about the good old days.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All we need now is Dog the Bounty Hunter, baby, and we got a trio. You know what I'm saying? All right, enough bullshit out of me. Doug, when did you start investing? How did you become an investor? Where are you, brother? Share that with the millions that are going to watch this.
Yeah.
So, tell me a story, bro. How'd you get going in this crazy game?
Yeah. I became a real estate agent in '94, and in '99 I went down to my first foreclosure auction. I was just curious. Had a couple of investors that I sold houses to, regular MLS deals. I was really good at finding deals on MLS, and went down to the foreclosure auction just on chance one day, and it changed my life. I saw what houses were going for. At the time, they were really good deals because information was really hard to come by. The internet hadn't caught up yet to all the stuff. Like now, you can go out and you can find all the auctions and whatnot.
Sure.
And what they're going. And back then, you had to manually do it. You had to actually go down to the courthouse steps, go out of the courthouse, pull all your information and write it down and do it all yourself. So it was really it was crazy. You had to hire 5-6 people in order to get all the information in, and then you'd go down there and you were hardly bidding against anybody. There was only like 3 or 4 people that you had to bid against, and you're buying properties at 50, 60 cents on the dollar.
Wow.
Now you go down there, information is readily available online, and you're lucky if you get it at 85 cents on the dollar. Yeah, so it's really changed, but.
And that was in Arizona, Doug?
That was Arizona, yeah.
Arizona, because you're originally from New York, right?
Originally from New York, moved out my junior year. My parents moved out to Arizona. Best thing that's ever happened to me. Got out to Arizona. It's gorgeous out here, man. I absolutely love it. It's hot as heck right now. I mean, it's 110 degrees, but it's
a dry heat. It doesn't make your hair curl, right?
What hair? I don't have any hair. I don't know what that means. So. Yeah. But I moved out here in '87. Got into real estate in '94. Got my license in '94, and really started flipping in '99 when I started hitting down at the courthouse steps. And over the years, represented a bunch of funds that you said over 10,000. We've done over 17,000 homes now.
Wow.
It's been an awesome run. We're mostly in Maricopa and Pinal County in Arizona, and then also in Southern California. Dipped our toe in the water in Chicago. Still got some stuff going out there. We also created we're doing a lot of commercial TV stuff all around the country. I think we're in 37 different markets now across the country.
Nice.
So that was it. We were able to because we do so much TV ads. And that's where we get a lot of our clients from, our sellers. We go direct to seller and buy houses. So we do it really well here in California, that we're able to kind of open up a marketing company and do that for other people all across the country.
Let me ask you a question, because a lot of people are following, you know, they ask, hey Dave, where are you, where you been, you know what I mean? And we've been building in the background our own PPM and fund structure. And you mentioned just there that you were approached by funds to buy, like they would have you as a buying entity for them, or you would go in and own them yourself and then sell them to a fund? How did that work?
No, they hired, we had a couple of groups hire us to find the deals. They would put up the money, but we were really good at finding the deals and tracking the deals at trustee sale. There's a lot, I spent about $250,000, a little bit more, about $300,000 on software that would find all these deals and also make sure that they were also title was clear on them. And we implemented that system, and they were very impressed with that. They tried to do it without us, and it wasn't as good. And so they hired us to do that.
Why do they always do that?
They try to cut out the middleman as much as they can.
Dude, look, man, I get it. I've always wondered why. Don't get me started, right? Don't get me started. I have a young partner today, a kid by the name of Eric Wilson. He's 24, 25 years old, and he just makes love to the computer. It's like a relationship that he has. I was on a conference call with my investment officer, my investment partner, a gentleman by the name of Walter Novicki, and we were talking about family offices for raising capital. For, you know, to deploy in our assets, you know, our asset class and how we do business. Yeah. And in that you'll love this, Doug. In that 5-minute conversation, Eric does whatever Eric does. He writes a little bit of code and he scrapes a list of all of the family offices, not only in America, but in the whole world. And he sends it over to Walter. And Walter says, "What's this?" He goes, "Oh, I just wrote some code and pulled it down." And it's like people think it's easy, right? It's easy to sell 10,000 houses. They think, oh, so you just go find the deals and then you just go find the money. It's easy. And then but here's what I know, and you tell me if you agree with it. The way you tell the story is 94 is when I started. Learn the lesson, learn the lessons, ouch, that hurt. I'm not going to do that again. Learn the lesson, learn the lesson, learn the lesson. And then somebody comes in and they think they can just do it without learning all of the lessons along the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when I first got in the business, I didn't know anything. I mean, I literally didn't know anything in 94. And it took me till 99, 5 years to figure out which direction I wanted to go. Because I was a pretty successful regular real estate agent.
Sure.
And, but my passion was in flipping houses and buying deals. And I started that in 99, and then in 2007, when you know everything hit the fan. I don't know if you're allowed to cuss on here, so I won't.
You can do whatever you want, man. It's all good. When the shit hit the fan, if we can't say shit in this environment today, forget it. You might as well go home and pull the sheets up over here.
I'm used to doing my radio show, and you can't cuss on that, so I'll keep it clean. And so. You know, I wound up doing it myself, putting together my own company, and really becoming the biggest buyer of trustee sales in Arizona. And then when the funds came in, you know, it was a huge competition, but they saw the value in what we were doing and wound up hiring us in California to go out and buy. I think we bought 3,000 homes for one of the biggest institutions in the world, and you know, and that's tough when you're working for an institution. They're very demanding, and you know, they want you. They own you. they're doing that much business. They own you, and they own Damon. My partner Damon.
Sure.
Very well. He was working 14-hour days, and it was really tough for a long time too, for a year and a half. Comping out all the houses, making sure that everything was loaded into the system, getting the money, because in California you have to pay for it on the spot. We'd go down with $3-4 million in cashier's checks every single day, and they wanted those deposited. What we didn't use, we wanted to back deposited in the bank that day, and then you had to go back in the morning in the bank and get a whole new set of money. And it wasn't just you just get $4 million out of the bank. It has to be in denominations of 5s and 10s and 20s.
Right.
And so you're sitting there, for an hour in the bank to get them in the morning, and then an hour in the bank to deposit them at night. Plus, you're there all day bidding on the homes and getting drive reports on all the houses and getting pictures and descriptions. And it was a lot of work. But
what kind of team did you have to do all of that? It couldn't have just been you and Damon. I mean, what kind of team was it?
No, we had about 8 drivers, because California, it could take you 2 hours to get 20 miles. Heck, 20 miles. It could take you 2 hours to get 12 miles.
Sometimes it's faster walking.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep. So we had a ton of drivers, and we had to teach them how to, try to get into the house if they could, knock on doors, see if there was vacant, occupied, get as many pictures as they could. If they could get in the house that was vacant, to try to get in the house and get pictures of the inside. And, in California, these homes aren't new. There's a lot of those houses are built in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and there's going to be some hair on them. So the better descriptions you can get, that was the demand, is get as much information as possible on each house.
So tell me, so I started in 2008, I think it was, right?
Yep.
Late 2007, early 2008. And, back then people would say, what do you do? And I was still in the fire department in the beginning, right? I kind of took a leave of absence. And people would say, what do you do? You'd say, well, I'm in real estate. Now in 2008, you'd say I'm in real estate, and they would go, I'm sorry, right? That's got to be painful. Like you had you had a virus.
Yeah.
like I had some kind of nasty, catchy thing.
Yeah.
But there was, probably one of the biggest, other than what's coming, one of the biggest, shifts in wealth that the country had ever seen, right? So what was it like for you guys? Were you with Damon in at the time of the crash, or did you guys kind of like?
No, we started right afterwards.
Okay.
So we started right afterwards. In 2006 was a really good year, one of my best years ever in real estate. Sure. And in 2007, I made 10% of what I made in 2006, and it was scary. It was really, really scary. You talk about someone taking your cheese. I was looking around, going, "What now?" Like, the sky is falling. I just
stole my cheese. Yeah, I forgot that book. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Skiff and Scurry, or Slam and Slappy, or something. I can't remember the name of the book, but yeah, I think every entrepreneur had to read that at least once.
Oh, absolutely. I read it during that time because I didn't know it was recommended to me, because I was trying to figure out what the heck to do. Like, you go from thinking you get the world by the balls and to getting your ass handed to you really fast. Sure. And that was a blow to the ego for sure. I didn't think that, I had heard people, that it happened to them, but it couldn't happen to me. I know my crap, No, that's not true. It was very humbling.
I heard this the other day. It was somebody quoted Tyson, and Tyson said, "Yeah, everybody's got a really good plan until you get smacked in the mouth."
Yeah.
Or the Rocky one, right? Everybody gets knocked down. It's those who get back up again. So what did you do to get back up? I mean, how did you pivot? Because I just went through a pivot myself with Corona, huge pivot, and that's for another day. But what did you do to pivot?
Yeah, so first I needed to get my finances in order. I had several offices, and I had money going out left hand over fist. I was losing. I had just opened in 2004 a new real estate company. It was my own real estate company. It was very successful. And then all of a sudden, 07 hit. We went from 80 agents to 40 agents. And so half my income's gone. And all of a sudden, my brokerage is hemorrhaging money. I'm losing $10,000, $15,000 a month. And,
Wow.
and I barely have that coming in at the time, because nobody knew where the bottom was. You had houses that were just falling and falling and falling,
Sure.
and nobody wanted to buy because they were scared it was going to be less,
Well,
30,000
it
less.
was Arizona, Vegas,
Yeah.
California. I mean, it was ridiculous. What was it, like 20% was left of the value on some of these things? Like they lost 80% of their value. Yeah.
Give you an idea. Give you an idea of what we are. There was houses that were selling, and this is where I really made my money. Is a little place called Santan Valley out in Pinal County here in Arizona, and houses were selling brand new in 04, 05, 06 for $240,000, $250,000, which, by the way, they're worth more than that now today.
Yeah.
And they were going to auction, and we were purchasing them at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And nobody wanted to touch them. No lender wanted to touch them. I'm buying these things at 50, 60,000, and I couldn't get anyone to loan me any money on them. And my whole thing was, look, at all these people are getting foreclosed on. They're all in their mortgages for $200,000. They got these huge payments, and I got the same exact house right next door at $60,000 that I'm going to rent to them for $1,000 a month.
There it is.
And I said, that's what saved me. And I had to talk a hard money lender into doing that. I go, look at the replacement cost. The replacement cost is $175,000, $200,000.
Right.
I said, we're getting them at $60,000. I go, it's going to go back up. And it was a ghost town. I mean, people were getting foreclosed on hand over fist. And because why would you sit there and keep on paying that you bought a house for $250,000? It's worth 60 now. We're at 80. We're buying it at auction at 60. They're probably worth 80, 85, 90,000. And so a lot of people just walked away, and then they needed a place to stay, so they would rent.
It's fear in the marketplace, right? And you and I both know, because we went through the crash and kept rocking and rolling, come out the other side. When the emotion is fear, it's fear based. It creates incredible opportunities, man. And it's up to the intelligent investor, right, to find that opportunity, whether doing what you did at that moment in time, stepping back a little bit, Doug, right, taking a peekaboo at it and saying, hold on a minute. If replacement cost is 150, 175, and I can get it for 60, that guy's losing it. All he's got to do next door is pay me $1,000. I would buy those all day long today. You know what I'm saying? I'd buy it at 60 and put a tenant in at $1,000. They couldn't afford their mortgages at $2,000, but they could afford a rental payment, right, at $1,000. Yep. What does that look like on a freaking spreadsheet, right? And then having the balls to do it.
Yeah, so that's the key, right? I mean, it's always
it is.
You can look in the rearview mirror and go, man, I should have done that. Why didn't I do that or whatever? But actually getting, what you said, the balls to do that.
Say balls, it's okay. Yeah, cojones, huevos, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead.
Actually do that is a different story. So we started buying them. Thank God I bought a bunch of them and kept them. And they've all quadrupled in value over the last 10 years. I remember saying this to one of my biggest buyers. I go, we're going to look back at this year in 2010 and go, why didn't we buy and hold every single house that we were wholesaling? Now, I had a really good year in 2010. And then the institution started coming in 11 and 12 and really sucked all the fun out of it because they were buying everything in sight. It's hard to compete with when they come in and go, hey, we know that these values are so good that we're going to buy them at value, at the current prices that they were at. They were
took you out of the game.
Even 110%. A lot of them their bid price was 110 cents on the dollar of what it was worth. Yeah, and everyone's sitting there going, what in the world? We're used to buying these things at 70 cents on the dollar, and then that all went bye-bye. So,
was it that period of time that you had Discovery reach out to you guys? Because it's funny, man. We come from the reality TV world, and we were blessed or cursed, depending on how you look at it, right? But that's how you and I got to know each other through the education space and stuff afterwards. But it was funny. I remember watching Property Wars before we got Flipping Boston going, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's a cool show. Those guys are good, blah, 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 blah. And then nothing, man. There was no reality TV at all for house flipping. Think about it. everybody thought it was cancerous to buy a house and invest. And, you know, guys like you were hanging and banging and turning these things over. And then we know what it's like today. Everybody who's got a cute wife and a hot husband and a flair for the direct dramatic, you know, it doesn't matter whether the deals make sense or not. You can have a TV show. But how did they approach you, and what did that look like? And did you run towards it, run away from it, change your mind? I mean, what did that look like?
Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with it. We were really, they approached us in 2011, which was like the height of our success. We were buying somewhere between 350 homes a month just in Arizona. Wow. We're just opening up in California as well. We're buying another 150 out there. So I mean, the numbers were crazy. They were just outrageous. And I didn't want the party to end. I didn't want anybody else to know what was going on. So I knew once this thing hit TV,
everybody wants to do it, yeah.
Because I had seen what had happened with Storage Wars, right? Because they kind of based
Storage
Wars like the #1 show back then on
it was,
cable.
Yeah.
And they kind of wanted to do the same thing with houses. And I'm like, no, because I know now that all the storage auctions, they got, 100 people down there where it used to be 10. And, everyone wants to get a deal.
Yeah, my buddy's in that business, dude. He hates them. He hates them. Yeah.
And then, so I didn't want to do it. And they went to an auction one time. There was 12 houses going. I bought 10 out of the 12 houses in the auction.
Wow.
And the guy just threw his arms in the air and goes, we can't do a show without Doug. And so they called me from a different phone because I stopped taking the directors or the casting directors phone calls.
Yeah.
He called me from a different phone, and he's like, "Man, I'm begging you. You gotta go. Let us just go out tomorrow, and if you don't like it, fine. But at least let's try to cast you and see what happens here." We went down. I wound up buying a house on camera. That was the most competitive thing. You talk about juices flowing. When you have a camera on you and you're bidding.
And it's real. It was real, right?
It's real dollars. And I overpaid by $20,000 on that house just because I didn't want to lose on camera. That is a true story. I owned it to this day because I couldn't sell it. It's on Saratoga in Gilbert. In fact, it just became vacated. I had rented for the last 5 years, the same people. I'm just getting it fixed up, and it's going on today. So yeah, I still every time I walk into that house.
That's funny, dude. That's
funny.
You let your ego, you let your big boy come in.
Yeah, I didn't realize how competitive I was until that happened. But
that's a lie.
So I said, what the heck? I was just going through a divorce. I'm like, maybe I'll meet some chicks or something like that.
There you go.
On TV.
I'll be on TV.
Yeah, let me try
hanging out with the Kardashians. Me, you, and the Kardashians, buddy. I don't know about you, but I never got any Kardashian money. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't get anywhere close to that.
Was it good for your business, Dougie, to be on there, Doug? Was it good for your business, brother? Yeah, it was, right?
It was fantastic. Yeah. It was really good. A lot of my company didn't want me to do it because we were all making hand over fist money. I mean, it was insane. The numbers that were coming in were it was insane.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted that to end, but I knew it had to end at some point. And I also figured that I didn't want to have any regrets, right?
Right.
If I didn't do this and it became a big hit, I would be kicking myself for the rest of my life.
Sure.
And so I've always been somebody to take some chances. And I figured, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm really glad that I did it. It was really hard work. Doing the TV show, as you know, it is not fun.
It's not fun. It's not.
It is
not fun.
It's boring and monotonous, and you
repetitive.
You got to open up a door 16 different times so that they can get every single angle, and you got to wait till the camera guy's set up. And
you're giving away all the secrets.
Dude, I don't care anymore, man.
I'm with you, dude.
It was great. It was great to see it. I'm glad it's there. It's part of. We were part of television, the pop culture of television.
We were.
2010s, man, and so.
They put our episodes up on Amazon Prime now. That's like a new launch we did. You can watch the episodes of Flip It Boston on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
I think more people watch it on Amazon Prime than they did when it was on the networks. You know what I mean? Especially today. I mean, the younger generation don't even have cable anymore. So, why would you try and visit back in that? It's amazing how fast the stuff moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Technology and attention span.
Yeah, so we were on the Discovery Channel, and it's crazy because the Discovery Channel plays all over the world, and
Yeah.
you could tell when it starts playing in these different countries because I'm getting all these requests on social media from
From Hungary.
Turkey or yeah, Germany or Israel.
Yeah,
Like,
that's funny.
I had some friends who were in Israel. They sent me a picture of Property Wars. They're sitting in their hotel room and watching Property Wars
Crazy,
a few years ago.
crazy.
That was
My
insane.
partner was doing a little networking, behind the scenes for me on LinkedIn, right? One of the best platforms, I think, for good business relationships. And he connected with this guy. His name is Ari Smith, and he's part of a company called Riverside. And they're one of the biggest title companies in the country. I mean, the amount of volume that they do, but they're really investor specific, like larger commercial deals. They're all in New York and Brooklyn and New Jersey and in that area. And anyway, long story short, we get on a Zoom call for an introduction. And it's funny, man. I mean, the door was only opened up for me because Ari was a fantastic fan of Flip It Boston. And I'm like, he's the vice president of business development for this huge company, right? A huge asset to guys like us. And he's almost like giggly, like, woohoo. And I'm like, will you stop? And he's like, no. And we invited him to be on our board of advisors for our fund. You'd think I'd offered the guy, the keys to the chocolate factory. You know what I mean? He was that excited. So there's a lot of upside that came off of it. But to your point, bro, it was freaking hard work, dude. It was a lot of grinding. So let's change the subject a little bit. What's up with my boy Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, bud? Well, why? Did you call it? Did you do that? You did it, didn't you?
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm a big Jets fan, and it'll be interesting. That dynasty has been dominating our team for the last 15, 20 years. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. And here's what I think is going to happen. I think the Patriots are going to win the AFC East again, if there's a season, by the way. Because
right. Yeah. Let's assume that we're going to be able to go to a game and there's a season. Yeah.
They're going to have 10 or 11 wins. They're going to win the AFC East again with a no-name quarterback. And everyone's going to see that the real genius was Bill Belichick. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Tom Brady, with any other team and any other organization, is not the same quarterback. He's not the GOAT. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I think there's been several quarterbacks that have been better, more clutch, awesome than he is, but he is, he's got 6 rings, But
hey, that's right.
You give at least half of those rings to credit Bill Belichick for.
I agree. I've always enjoyed breaking stones over that one. Where were we? We were working in Vegas, weren't we, when we did that bet? Did I win or lose that bet? I can't remember.
5 large, bro. $5,000.
And I think you had to pay me, didn't you?
No,
or did I pay you?
I had to pay you the year before on stage.
Oh, that's right. I got clever.
On stage, that stunk. Yeah, he made me. I went to go give you the $500.
Yeah.
And you said, nope, I want to get it on stage. And you said, I'll get it from you later. And in front of 500 people, I had to come up there and pay you $500.
But we did the right thing. Hold on, we did the right thing. I think we both donated to charity what we won anyway, right?
No, that was when I won. That's when
I donated to charity.
When I won, it was $2,500. It was $5,000, $2,500 to me, and $2,500 to
that's right.
the charity of my choice.
That's correct. That's right. That's right. Hey, it was a good thing. Sometimes it's okay to lose. You know what I mean?
I even had in my phone right now. I have the video of you agreeing to that bet. Yeah. I'll send it to you later. I have the video.
I know that video. It was dark. I was all juiced up with excitement of being in Las Vegas. That's what it was. I got confused. I tell you what, though, brother. I'm from England, and I'm a big soccer fan, and I'm watching the Premier League soccer now with no fans in the stadiums, and it's like you really don't understand how powerful it is, the presence of human beings all, moving in one direction together to support their team or hate the other guys. It's just, it's weird, man.
Yeah, there's
It's
no energy.
weird.
There's no energy.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about baseball? Because I know you like to watch silly kids play a game with sticks. I don't play that game.
yeah,
What's going on with that?
Baseball has always been a passion of mine since I was a little kid. I grew up with the Yankees, loved them. This last few months and seeing the negotiations, I'm really down in the dumps about it. I'm so aggravated with the just lack of regard for what's going on in the world and coming up with squabbling over what for 1 year for a different what's the difference in the these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars and it just I know there's two sides to every story, but
of course
looking at the way that whole thing went down, especially with the players association there, I'm really disgusted with it honestly. I don't know if I'm going to watch it or have the passion for it because and maybe that'll turn around as soon as it comes back on the diamond, and there's really nothing else to watch. I mean, my whole thing with TV, and I realize this is I only watch ESPN. Like, yes, I won't watch the news. The news is a joke. It's just
Isn't it?
It's not even the news. It's just a bunch of talking heads with opinions.
Isn't it, mate? The only thing I'll look at, Doug, if I want to get some kind of middle of the road opinion, factual. And I watch BBC. I watch a little bit of BBC World News if I want to catch up on something. If I want to laugh, then I go to the far left and the far right, and I get a giggle out of it. But it's pretty screwed up what's going on, man. The way it is and the delivery of the information. I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. So now that ESPN doesn't have any sports, I don't even watch TV. Like I very, very rarely turn on the television anymore, which is kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of good things that are going to come out. I mean, the COVID thing is just horrible, right? There's so many people it's affected so many lives and people have lost jobs and everything else. But, at the end of the day, you can't just dwell on that. And
God, no.
You have to say, okay, there's also some positives that have come out of this. And, I look at my relationship with my daughters and being able to make dinner with them at home because you can't go out to dinner. I'm a single dad and I was always going out to dinner because it's a pain in the butt to cook for 2 or 3 or whatever. And it's just easier. I just got off of work. But just to bond over the stove, making stuff. You said I lost a few pounds when you saw me earlier. I have because, we're making healthy foods at a house.
Yeah.
Out of our house instead of going out. You go out and the portions are like this big when you go out to dinner, especially the places I like to frequent. So, it's been cool to hang out. I've played more board games in the last 2 months than I have in the last 20 years.
We've been playing Monopoly maybe once or twice a week.
Get Monopoly Deal. Get Monopoly Deal.
Monopoly Deal? Okay.
Yes, it's Monopoly Deal. I think you get it for $7-8 on Amazon, and it's a card game based on Monopoly. And my daughter and I play it almost every night. It's an awesome game, and it only takes 15 minutes. It's not a 10-hour game. So it's a 15-minute game, and we go back and forth on who wins. And it's really good.
That's fun.
Another one when you have a few people over is, and I bought this. It's Agent. What the heck's it called? It'll come to me later.
Text me.
Yeah, it'll come to me later. But just all these games that I haven't done. We're playing Sorry and Sorry years.
Uno. You've been playing any Uno?
Uno and Phase 10, which is like the same thing as Uno, but a little bit different. But it's the same kind of.
Well, I got the Uno skills down. I got it down. I tuck one card underneath my leg so nobody knows. So I've always got, you know what I mean, like a little extra. I'll say it on video recorded live. I will cheat at Uno just to destroy my kids' confidence because you got to knock them down to pick it.
Code Names is the name of that. Code Names. Yes, you got to get that one, dude. Code Names is an amazing game. The only reason I bought it, I never even heard of it. The only reason I bought it is because it had like the most likes out of any board game on Amazon. I'm like, I've never heard of this. And we
That's
broke
interesting.
it out. I bet you that 20 people have bought it because I bought it into the office. I play it all over the place,
That's
and
funny.
everyone loves it. And yeah,
So
shows
we
me
got
some,
opportunities, right, for personal growth,
absolutely.
spending time with the people that we love. I
Yes.
mean, we're all on this freaking Zoom thing now. I think Zoom is more valuable than Delta Airlines. So if you
Yeah.
bought some stock in Zoom, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
What about business? What do you see, dude? What do you see, brother? Because you're right on the front line. It's not like you're a part-time player. You're like all over this thing. What do you see in the residential, if you could sum it up? And
Sure.
then I know you've got experience in my world in commercial as well. What do you see for the commercial Q1, Q2, maybe Q4 this year? What do you see going on?
Sure. So it's interesting. When this kind of hit and when it was coming, early March, right? Where we knew it was coming, it was just starting to hit, and panic set in, and everyone's like, "What's going to happen?"
Yeah.
It was a I was reading all these people that have been in the game for a while saying this is going to be the biggest thing. This is even going to be bigger than 2007, 2008.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. Yeah.
Oh, no, it didn't make sense, and I disagreed because we weren't built on a foundation back then.
Right.
I mean, the
Right.
loans that were done in 04, 05, 06 were a joke, and this market was built on a foundation. But I thought so. There's two ways it can go. It could really go, especially when the job numbers came out. You had all these unemployeds and unemployment numbers and everything. And so I figured it would be more like a 9/11 sort of experience, which I was in the game at 9/11 in 2001, where nobody did anything for a while, and there was a little bit of a lull for 5-6 months, and Bush came in and put some stuff to stimulate the economy, and we just grew like crazy from there. And that's what I figured it would be like. I didn't expect it to bounce back, especially in Arizona, like it did, as fast as it did. Now, there's certain parts of the country where that may not be the case, but I'm telling you about the two places where I do businesses: Arizona and Southern California.
Sure.
The inventory there is at all-time lows. We're putting houses on the market that are selling in multiple offers, selling in the first day or two on the market. We've seen more people come out of the woodwork to try to get houses and make some money in this market. So for us, we had a record month in May. We're going to have a record month in June. We're going to beat that. And it's just hot as can be right now. What's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know how much further this thing can keep on going up and keep on appreciating in our markets. But we're seeing stuff going up. Since November, 10% plus already.
So what do you think about the moratorium on the mortgages, man? I mean, this deference of payment on mortgage that's been offered, because banks as well as I do, when the 6 months is up, time to pay, right? What do you see happening?
So again, we're in Arizona, which hasn't been affected as much as a lot of the East Coast. Now, that being said, it could have a bigger effect because our numbers are coming back. We're one of the worst in the country right now. But our governor's not closing anything down. We're required to wear masks in public and stuff. So, and now I know a bunch of people that are getting it. Like I didn't know any. If you would ask me in mid-May when we opened back up, Arizona opened back up, I'm like, this thing's a joke. Nobody's infected here. This is, and then I talked to my buddies in New York, and I'm like, they're like, oh yes, it is.
We got killed. Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I don't know what you're seeing. I go, must be the heat. So my whole opinion was, all right, the heat's going to kill this thing, and we're not going to be affected at all, and Arizona's just going to keep on marching. And but that's not happening. The heat's not killing anything. It's pretty. The numbers are pretty significant here every day.
So if the COVID numbers are going up, and have you followed any of the data in your market with regard to the mortgages that they've allowed them to not pay on? Do you know what that looks like? Because I mean, those numbers are impactful, no?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect Arizona as much. I can tell you this: we have a rental portfolio, and we've gotten every single dollar.
And you've collected, yeah.
elected. So I don't think Arizona's lost as many jobs as a lot of the rest of the country. Most of the people that lost the jobs in Arizona were waiters and people, restaurants,
Sure.
people that worked in the restaurant industry or the hotel industry.
Leisure,
But for the most part, it's not been, with their industry and everything else has done very well. So I don't think it's, hasn't affected us as much as it has a lot of the rest of the country.
What about commercial? Do you have an opinion there? Do you have a
I think
yeah.
So on commercial, I think it's going to be a really good time to invest in commercial, because here's there's going to be opportunity where, what I think a lot of businesses have found out is that they don't need to have all this office space in order to survive. In fact, they can prosper without having to pay for that. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of vacancies. And what happens with a lot of vacancies is the prices go down. And so when prices go down, people come in and buy commercial and then put new renters in there, because this is just temporary, and there's going to be a lot of businesses that spring up, and they're going to need, you need to have an office. If you work from home, you can work from home for a little bit, man. But I'll tell you what, I did it. We were closed down here for 45 days. I was going out of my mind.
Oh, me too. Me too. This is a new office space for me, and it's funny. I negotiated a. You know what I'm saying? Good.
Yeah.
And I couldn't look at those little faces at the French doors of my office anymore.
Yeah.
Dad, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like, and then it breaks your heart, because I'm like, go away, I'm working, or I'd be on a call or whatever it was we were doing. So yeah, absolutely. To get out of home and into an office is good. Look, man, I usually keep these at like 45 minutes, but with you, man, I could go for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, probably just shoot the breeze all day long.
Yeah.
Sum it up for me in a couple of sentences. What do you think are maybe some of the challenges that real estate's going to have, and then some of the opportunities that you see? And where's the smart money going? Put it that way.
Well, taking action, we've talked about it all the time, is, just get off the sidelines. Like for me, the reason that I've been successful is because I have done it. I've taken chances, went out and did the show when I didn't want to do it, but saw that there could be opportunities there. Went in and changed from going down to foreclosure sales to going direct to seller, and went out and did TV commercials when the cost of TV commercials is so much more than
through the roof,
anything else, So, but I've been able to take risks, and those risks, calculated risks that pay off. And so, listen, in my markets right now, we don't see any sort of, I got my finger on the pulse of the market every single day. And as long as supply stays low and demand is high, I'm going to keep on buying and being aggressive. And that's the great thing about working in your business is you can get you don't have to wait for the news to tell you what's going on. You're going to see it firsthand for yourself, working in that business every single day. And there's too many people that do this business that kind of just like, hey, I'm going to be the puppet master. You guys do all the work and everything. And those people lose sight of what's going on and don't see the signs before they hit. And you can get a really good gauge on what's going on if you really work in your business, not have your, not just depend on the money coming in from your business and let other people do the work. I did that for a while, and I learned my lesson, and the next thing you know, things pass you by. So work in your business. Yeah.
I love it. So my takeaway is this, brother: work from bottom up, not top down, right? Don't let the corporate type structure be the overriding messaging if it didn't start at the beginning and build. Because you and I built our businesses, we built our relationships. So from the bottom up. I also heard you say, get off the sidelines, whether you're a capital investor, whether you're a house flipper, whether you're a commercial acquisitions whatever it is, get in the game and do something, right? Rather than just look. And then I also liked what you said, was you use that word risk and everybody goes, oh, it's risky, right? No, it's a calculated risk. It's an educated decision. And the word decision means something changes. I make a decision, right? I do something rather than just think about something. So, look, man, I miss you, brother. I miss you.
This is fun.
Yeah, we talked about trying to get to a Pats Jets game, and I was going to come out and watch some golf with you. So let's let this COVID crap pass us by a little bit.
Sounds good.
And then as soon as we get a chance to get together again, first round's on me, brother. All right.
Sounds good, my man.
All right. Tell
Look
Dave
forward to it.
Said hi and say hi to your girls. God bless.
All right. Sounds good, my man. Take care, bro.
Bye. Bye.